I'm Doris Finney Ryan.
And Roy Ryan.
Take me back when you started at ICC. What was your first impressions of the college?
Well, I loved it from the beginning because I was greeted by friendly faculty, and that has impressed me.
And I had been in high school 4 years, so it was just commonplace since I attended Fulton High School.
Okay, so it was basically home for you already.
Yeah, it was on the high school campus at that point. But we were lucky that we had 2 dormitories left over from the 20s when it was a boarding high school.
Okay.
In fact, I had an uncle who had gone to high school there, and it was a boarding school then, about 1920.
Okay, and I learned something new today. So
They let the students name the 2 halls, and they named them Lee and Monroe.
now,
They've been going a long time now.
did you live in those dorms?
Yes.
Tell us about the dorms. What were they like?
Well, they were pretty nice dormitories. I mean, they were able to, of course, upgrade them some. And we had a boys' dormitory, and actually, I guess the first year, there were about 3 of us boys who lived in a large room in the girls' dormitory downstairs. And then the second year, it was 1 boys' dorm and 1 girls' dorm.
Okay.
Did you remember that?
No, I didn't.
What were some of your earliest memories of the college? I know you talked about how friendly everybody was, but kind of just take us through some of your earliest memories of your time at ICC.
Well, one of the first things we had to do in the dorm was to get acquainted and find out where everyone was from. And then as we attended the classes, of course, we had the rules and regulations. And sometimes we'd meet together and kind of say, okay, what is it they're wanting? And I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I worked in the library there.
Okay.
I love that, and I worked in the office. I worked my way through it. Now, I thought I was going to major in business, but I found out that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to be with children and teach, and I'd go back and do it all over again.
And what about some of your early memories?
Well, it was sort of a continuation of high school because about, I would say, 50, maybe 60% of the students were from Fulton High School. In fact, several of us that graduated that year went to college there. And I had been president of my high school class, and so I knew everybody really well. And from the very beginning, I was involved in all kinds of the activities. And they did a very nice thing. They divided us into 2 groups, which had about 50 people each. There were a little over 100 of us. And we were called, one group was called the Pioneers, and one was called Le Sans Souci, because the French teacher was the sponsor of it, and they came up with the French title, Friends, some kind of friends, but anyway. And we had intramural athletic events, other competitive things in the 2 groups. So from the very beginning, we all, I think, felt very much involved in the life of the college. And of course, in my case, Mr. Sheffield, I knew him by reputation because he had just gotten back from the Army. This was 48, and he'd gotten out in 45, the war was over. But he had been a strong military officer, and he knew how to run the ship.